Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Coach Michelle Mills. I am the Eczema Coach on Instagram, and I am here to talk you through so many things related to eczema because I have come into so much new research and understanding about eczema, and I want to relay that information to you guys so badly. A lot of my videos are out of date and I just want to do this big update video. So if you guys are ready, let's dive into it and let's start talking about eczema. So as of recently, I have come to this really bizarre conclusion, or hypothesis, I should say. It's not a conclusion yet, but a large majority of people with eczema have issues in their gut. A lot of times it's candida. And this is a very weird phenomenon, and the more people I am in contact with, the more I'm finding this to be true, but it actually makes a lot of sense. So a lot of times people with eczema are stressed out. Stress can actually lower stomach acid production. Now, I'm sure you've met plenty of other people who are stressed and don't have eczema. You're right, that is definitely a thing, but those people may have not taken antibiotics, or their genetics may have been wired to produce another disease or disorder. So try not to compare yourself too much to other people. So for us, when we've had a history of our microbiomes are probably not very diverse. Now, a microbiome refers to all the different microbes, so bacteria, yeast, archaea, all sorts of things that live in our gut. So our gut isn't just a bunch of squishy intestines. There's a lot of stuff going on in our gut. In fact, our skin actually has microbes on it as well. So while you may look at it and just see skin, there is a whole host of different microbes that live on our skin, in our gut, and all of that. And so it can become out of balance. And a lot of us have had eczema since we were little. And I have a hunch that our whole microbiome has been out of balance since then. What could be the cause of that? I've been starting to think about childhood eczema and what parents could do to help their children. And I'm wondering how much, baby formula or what the mother ate during pregnancy, what the mother was breastfeeding with, has to do with the child, and if it all stems to stomach acid production, because a healthy amount of stomach acid can actually allow healthy gut bacteria to flourish and bad bacteria or bad fungus like candida to be in smaller quantities. So when I say that we have candida in our gut, just know that it's normal to have a small amount. When it becomes a problem is when it becomes pathogenic and it starts to overgrow. Personally, this is what I deal with. Stress causes low stomach acid. The candida overgrows. It's just a whole situation. And so there's certain enzymes that can break down the candida biofilm. Now, if you've had candida for a long time, it likely has a biofilm, which is essentially like a tent that lives over the community of candida, and it prevents it from dying off. So it's a protective layer. And there are antifungals, herbal antifungals out there like caprylic acid, oregano oil, black walnut oil, but these can't get to candida because there's a biofilm. And so that biofilm has to be broken down through enzymes. So that's one piece of this puzzle. And so once you start using those enzymes for a little while, you can switch to a antifungal. Now, they say to use the enzymes on an empty stomach and the antifungals with your food. So an antifungal could be clove, black walnut oil. I kind of listed a few already. So there's another aspect to eczema, which is histamine. A lot of us deal with histamine intolerances, which I've actually found makes a lot of sense because when you're putting your gut through a lot. Now, gluten actually is known. There's research articles out there. Dr. Stephen Gundry talks about this a lot. He says that gluten in general can trigger zonulin, which actually opens up the tight junctions which are holding our gut together. That's a very complicated thing. So let me simplify that really fast. our gut lining is one cell thick, and something called zonulin controls these tight junctions. And they're like, it's kind of like whether the cells are gonna sit like this or sit like this. They're supposed to be sitting like this, but with zonulin, it kind of opens up like this. And so it makes our guts permeable. And so this could be from using NSAIDs like aspirin and stuff, antibiotics, gluten, I mean, all of the crappy food out there. Also, glyphosate is a pesticide, which is horrible for our guts as well. So there's an enzyme in our gut called DAO, and this actually breaks down histamines in foods, and it allows us to eat foods that are high in histamines without a reaction. When we have leaky gut, this DAO enzyme isn't being produced, so our body isn't processing that histamine. It often shows up in hives. It makes our skin really itchy, especially at night. And so what you want to do is be able to heal your gut. Our goal here is to heal your gut, balance the immune system, detox the liver, and then you're going to be able to heal your eczema. So it's this whole big process, and a lot of us have been going to doctors and dermatologists, and they're like, oh, just moisturize it. It's just dry skin. Oh, here's this cream that you can put on it, which ends up being steroids. And steroids can cause something called topical steroid withdrawal. And this can actually cause really, really severe eczema, where it's all over your face, your neck, your chest. People go through really horrible situations with this. And so we want to avoid using steroids. There's a lot of other medications out there like Dupixent. Out of all the medications, I would say Dupixent is probably one of the better ones. They are now trying to push JAK inhibitors, which they're basically drugs that were originally used for cancer, and now they're trying to use them for immune system conditions like eczema and asthma and psoriasis and stuff like that. And I'm not a fan. There's a lot of really severe side effects with those. Dupixent has its side effects. You could have eye issues with Dupixent. Sometimes Dupixent doesn't even work for people. So personally, I like the idea of healing eczema naturally. Eczema can be on your hands, it can be around your mouth, around your eyes, it can be on your hands. A lot of times when it's on your hands, you have blisters. Dead sea salt soaks for your hands could be really helpful, and then moisturizing them with borage oil or moringa oil, that's going to be really, really great. So I'm kind of just giving you guys all of the information that I can in one video. I post on Instagram all the time. Like I have posts constantly, reels constantly breaking down all of this. So if you have questions, which you will after this video, go to my Instagram account. It's at the Eczema Coach, and you'll just find all the information. So basically, the whole idea of healing naturally is trying to determine if you have a salicylate intolerance, which means that your liver is overworked, and you can test that through trying different foods. I get a lot of questions about, how do you know if you have candida? How do you know if you have a histamine intolerance? You basically have to slow everything down and get on some sort of an elimination diet. Pick 10 whole foods and try those foods just one at a time and see if there's any reaction. And you kind of have to mix them up. It's a weird situation to test things out, but tomatoes are really high in histamines. So if you try to eat tomatoes and you have a reaction, that's gonna say, okay, maybe histamine is an issue. So I actually put together this giant spreadsheet called the Ultimate Eczema Food Guide, and it says a food, and it says whether it has salicylates, histamines, whether it would feed candida. It's just this massive spreadsheet. And so what I would do is get the spreadsheet, and then you could look for another high histamine food like pineapple. Try to see if you can tolerate pineapple. And okay, so both of those are fruits, and maybe they feed candida. So now try mushrooms, which are high in histamines. If you react, you probably have a pretty severe histamine intolerance. Other signs of histamine intolerance would be breaking out into hives. They could be like goosebump looking hives or larger hives, and that's a pretty good indication. Then there's a whole set of foods that are high in salicylate, so you can test those foods out one by one, see if you have any reaction. And then you can test things that are high in sugar, see if that's feeding candida. You'll probably feel that pretty immediate. That is kind of like a one-to-one situation. Another thing that I could talk about is the itch scratch cycle. So if you have eczema and you have scratched it, it feels so good to scratch. You've probably ran hot water over your skin, which is horrible, by the way. And what that's gonna do is trigger the itch scratch cycle. So there's something off with the way that our nerves are coming back and giving our brain data. So instead of saying, ow, this hurts, it says, ooh, this feels good. Let's do this again. And it actually forms an addiction. So if you feel addicted to scratching your eczema, you're pretty spot on. You're pretty right. And it's normal to feel that way. And you can actually train your mind to stop scratching your skin. Now that's a whole other video. So I think I'm gonna wrap things up here. I just wanted this large overview video, just kind of talking, and I'm sure you guys will have a ton of questions. So you can either comment those or head over to Instagram and see if I have answered them over there. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.